If you want to clap, you can clap. As you kindly take your seat. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor of our university, the first and the best university in Nigeria, the University of Ibadan, Professor Kayode Adebowale, MNIFAS, I want to warmly welcome you to this inauguration ceremony for newly elected student leaders. We are gathered here for two reasons. The obvious one is to signal the commencement of your leadership responsibility. And the implied dimension of it is that it's the beginning of a lifetime of relevance for each and every one of you, because we believe after your service in these roles, you go ahead to become relevant personalities in the society. I thought somebody was going to say amen to that. It's on that note, I want to formally acknowledge the presence of our Vice Chancellor. I mentioned earlier that he flew into the city this morning because of his commitment to the student union and student leadership in the University of Ibadan. And we are delighted to announce that he's here. Join me to appreciate Professor Kayode Oyebode Adebowale, MNI, FAS, FSPSP, the 13th Vice Chancellor of our university. Other principal officers will join us in the course of this program, and we will duly acknowledge their presence once they step into the auditorium. It's my delight to acknowledge the presence of one of our deans, the Dean of Art. Join me to appreciate Professor Rashid Olaniyi. And also, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Dean of Students, who is the father of all the children, of many children in the University of Ibadan. Apparently, the VC is the grandfather. So join me to appreciate the Dean of Students, Professor Demola Lewis. For every father, there is a mother. So join me to appreciate the Deputy Dean of Students, Dr. Comfort Aiki Raj. And also, I would like to especially appreciate and acknowledge the presence of the Deputy Registrar of the Student Affairs Division, Mr. Sulaimon Oyewumi. And also, another mother in the house, join me to appreciate the Deputy Registrar at our Directorate of Public Communications and the PRO of the University of Ibadan, Mrs. Adejoke Akinpelu. Well, also gracing this occasion is the head of the department where the incoming president is studying. And we have the sentiments of acknowledging him today. Join me to appreciate the head of the Department of European Studies, Professor Amos Damilare Iyola. And also, our Chief Safety Officer, who is coordinating the security matters in this hall today, Mr. Eli Oyekome. Please appreciate him. He's right behind there. And like I said, once other principal officers step into the auditorium, we would acknowledge their presence. My name is Dayo Olajide. I'm of the Directorate of Public Communications of the first and the best university in Nigeria, the University of Ibadan. Vice Chancellor, permit me to invite to introduce electoral commissioners here present. He is the chairman of the Electoral Commission that saw to the successful election of our incoming executives here today. I welcome the Deputy Registrar, Student Affairs Division, Mr. Sulaimon Oyewumi.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, good morning, sir. Order protocol duly observed. Sir, pursuant to Article 17, subsection 1 to 11 of the University of Ibadan Student Union Constitution, an student union electoral commission is established. And the power of that commission is to conduct elections into the student union executive positions and the student representative council positions. The commission is chaired by the deputy registrar student, and it has 35 members. The 35 members are selected, one from each hall and the faculties. The commission has 6 subcommittees, and the subcommittees are the following: security, headed by Olawale Olabayo, Commissioner Olawale Olabayo; welfare, headed by Commissioner Salam Babatunde; budget, headed by Commissioner Ajayi Akikumi; publicity, headed by Commissioner Ujolakwe Festus; screening, Commissioner Jolaude Nasruddin; logistics, Commissioner Kilanko Timileyin; the commission has a secretary, Commissioner Olorutola Michael. Sir, I want to say and acknowledge that personally I'm proud of the students who are members of this commission. The little time we worked together, I was able to confirm that they were not only learning, but they were also developing good characters. The commission conducted the Student Union Executive election on Saturday, 13 December 2025. The election to the Student Representative Council was conducted on 28 December 2025. Sir, I will read out the names of the other members of the commission. Mark Ogenero, representing the Faculty of Art. Olakunle Oladotun Paul, Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences. Ogundeji Damilare, Faculty of the Social Sciences. Adekola James Sunday, Faculty of Veterinary Medicine. Ajani Mofifoluwa Bemileke, Faculty of Technology. Iriyenika Omoseye Esther, Faculty of Pharmaceutical Sciences. Miriam Ifeoluwa Adigun, Faculty of Law. Olajide Ahmed Abolade, Faculty of Public Health. Oluwo Damilare Samuel, Faculty of Dentistry. Muritala Fatai Atanda, Faculty of Economics. Adeleke Victoria, Faculty of Renewable Natural Resources. Adeniji Kester, Faculty of Environmental Design and Management. Akiade Israel, Faculty of Multidisciplinary Studies. Soname Anoluapo, Faculty of Basic Clinical Sciences. Elijah David, Faculty of Nursing. Justin Tineso, Faculty of Computing. Oyedokun Ayomido Daniel, Kenneth Mellanby Hall. Basunu Latif, Lord Tedder Hall. Agbuola Ezekiel, Sultan Bello Hall. Adetunji Samson, Inamdi Asikwe Hall. Fagbemi Princess, Queen Elizabeth Wall. Akinola Oluwafunmilayo, Queen Idia Hall. Ola Lucy Suzanne, Obafemi Awolowo Hall. Fagade Oluwadamilola, Tafawa Balewa Hall. Olóyèdè Abimbola, Adetowo Ogunseye Hall. Ola Benson, Omokorede Emmanuel, Alumni Hall. Oluyomi David Olanrewaju, Ransom Kuti Hall. Abdul Fatai Abdul Muhammad Ayodele Falase Hall. So those are the members of the commission. I will thank them most sincerely for doing a very good job. So may I also add that getting these elections done successfully, we must also acknowledge the contribution of the team that handled the election platform, led by the provost of the postgraduate college, Professor Ogugibe. Thank you very much, sir.
Let me warn you ahead of time, we are going to be doing a lot of clapping today. So clap very well for Mr. Oyewumi for leading the Electoral Commission to give us a very successful election. Thank you very much. Vice Chancellor, do permit me to acknowledge our incoming executives who are here seated, and let me pass an information across to you from one of our mothers. The PRO said I should commend all of you that you are well dressed today. Put your hands together and appreciate yourselves. And also that you arrived punctually. Celebrate yourselves one more time. We have 8 members of the executive of our student union and the incoming president, Adeboye Temidayo Sewani. The incoming vice president, Salawu Durojaye Glory. Incoming general secretary, Shonton Joshua Olushola. The incoming assistant general secretary, Fidelia Ogbongon Esiele. The incoming treasurer, Ode John Honor. The incoming house secretary, Tifashe Oluwati Mileyin. The incoming public relations officer, that is our son in the Directorate of Public Communication, Awo Fadeju Olasukanmi Alabi. And the last and definitely not the least, the incoming sports secretary, Shinyobade Adedamola Olaleko. And Vice Chancellor, I should also acknowledge the presence of our outgoing secretary, so permit me, outgoing executives. They reminded me that I have a white suit at home. Unfortunately, the dean did not tell us that it's a white affair. Today would have been a good time to launch that white suit. We have here today the outgoing president. Join me to appreciate Odedile Covenant. Outgoing Vice President Owadayo Olabisi. General Secretary Olowu Shegun. Assistant General Secretary Olawoye Taiwo. Treasurer Bioku Joshua. House Secretary Adeyemi Oluwaseun. Public Relations Officer, Adekombi Ezekiel. Sports Secretary, Kolawole Victor. Clap for them one more time. They had a very peaceful tenure. For this, we are grateful to God and we celebrate them. Please take your seats. And also, we have our SRC members, the incoming Student Representative Council members. Can you please rise on your feet, the incoming SRC members? Please celebrate them. Put your hands together for them. Thank you very much. They are clapping for you. You should also clap for yourselves. So please take your seats. We have in our presence today the Bossa, although unavoidably absent, but is ably represented by our Deputy Bossa in charge of grants. Join me to appreciate Mr. O. Akou. Our Vice Chancellor, we also have here today faculty presidents. If you're a faculty president, please rise up on your feet for due recognition. Those are presidents of our various faculties. Thank you. Please take your seat. We also have all chairs. If you're an all chair, please rise up on your feet for due acknowledgement. Thank you very much. You may take your seat. And if you are here today, I have not mentioned your category, clap for yourself. You are an observer and you are equally relevant to this occasion. Thank you. It's on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite to give the opening remark at this special inauguration ceremony. Join me to welcome the Dean of Students, Professor Demola Lewis.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, Professor Kayode Adebowale, FAS, MNI, FSB, SP, the Vice Chancellor of the first and best university, and member of the top 2% scientists in the world. The bursar represented here by Mr. Hongo, the registrar, well, he's going to show up, but I mean, so when he shows up. All right, then the Deputy Dean of Students, the DR students, colleagues of the Student Affairs Division, colleagues in the Public Relations Unit of the university, academic and non-academic colleagues, in particular the head of the Department of European Studies. Apologies, I missed out the Dean of the Faculty of Arts, the first and the best faculty, Professor Olani. Yeah. So, academic and non-academic colleagues, President Covenant Odedele and the auspicious team, President-elect Temilade Adeboye and the team Diligence. Presidents of faculty, chairs of halls, also elect, members of the 12th Assembly, members of the 13th Assembly, parents of student leaders here present. I see a few parents here. Thank you for giving us this present. The generality of students here present, the observers, I'm sure the observation that they're doing is not based on the lunch of the other day, but it's fine. And then gentlemen of the media and of the press, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Greatest Nigerian students, greatest UItes, greatest UItes, greatest of the greatest of the greatest of the greatest of the greatest, great. We're going to do that again, because you're expecting the Gbogbo and the Big B. You're not going to get that. Great. So when I say greatest of the greatest of the greatest of the greatest, you say great, and you just keep saying great. Greatest you heights. Greatest you heights. Greatest of the 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 greatest you heights. Great. The era of rabble rousing has gone. Student unionism is now purposive. I mean, like we heard at the retreat that now we do what? Strategic engagements. That's what we do. I don't remember when last you heard that some universities globally, the students rioted and destroyed this and destroyed that. When last did you hear that? Likely not recently. So it's nice that we understand this, and it was on that basis that we had the retreat that we did have on Monday. Now, so let us agree that peace is not silence. It's not being timid. Neither is it being at war. Peace actually has to be developed, maintained by strategic engagement, and that is the currency of peace, strategic engagement. And what do we mean by strategic engagement? There are several examples, but I'll just give one recently that happened on campus. So shortly after I resumed as Dean of Students in August, I saw something flying around called an open letter to the Vice Chancellor, where the captains of sports on campus were demanding several things, including demanding that the university sends them to the Nuga Games. And immediately I saw that, I spoke with the sports secretary and asked whether they had passed these demands through the right channels before they went on an open letter. He said no, so I said, speak to whoever put it up to bring it down, which they did. So when they brought it down, we now reviewed that open letter and changed some words there from we demand to we request, and so on. And this happened on a Thursday, and on a Sunday, I went with that new letter to see the Vice Chancellor in his office. He was working on a Sunday like he does many Sundays. So, and I met Covenant there for the same purpose. And we discussed the content of the demand with the Vice Chancellor, and he was totally for it. Before you knew it, UI was hosting the pre-Nuga Games. Before you knew it, 100 UIs went to the Nuga Games. Now that cost the university about 50 million naira. And that would not have happened with that open letter. It happened because there was some discussion and because things were put properly. Do I make a point here? That's where we're going as student leaders. That's where we're going. Because, like we said at the retreat, management is after the good of the students. And there's so many things, decisions that management will take on your behalf that you're completely oblivious of. So let's forget about this whole notion of they and us. We're all together in this, and we must all understand that. That's the first point about strategic engagement. The other thing I wanted to mention is that we must understand that there is hierarchy in authority. There are things that you can do by yourselves as students. But please, everything that you do, every activity that you have, all that you're organizing has to pass through the proper channel. If it's in the hall, your hall wedding has to be briefed from the beginning and carried along. If it's university-wide, the student affairs has to be briefed. Even if it's a hall, at some point you realize that you need to get approvals from student affairs. Sometimes you ask for something from student affairs and we can't grant it. We need to seek approval from higher authority. That's the university management. And when it goes beyond the management, they seek, permission from the Senate or the council. There is hierarchy in authority, and we must understand that. So we can't have a Congress and say what we have said here is binding on the university. We're only deceiving ourselves. But if we present those self-same things to management, they will agree because everybody is working for good. Do I make that point very, very clear, please? The third and final thing that I would like to say is that I charge you to do something concrete. Something concrete. I'm tired. We are tired of registration packages. Some exercise book and some biro and those. We don't even use exercise books again because we write like this. We don't write like this any longer. The world has moved on. So we need concrete things that the different levels of the union would do to better the lives of students. You wonder why we're beaming that structure on the screen. That's the SLC. It's like a broken record. That's the SLC hall of Cape Coast University. Guess what? They had accommodation issues, and the student union decided, after engaging with management, that they were going to build a hall of residence. A 1,500 student carrying capacity hall of residence. They approached a bank, got the money, and built that SLC hall. Of course, the university paid up the principal, and the students, from the accommodation money, paid back the university over time. That is a university in Ghana. There's so many other examples, and we can see that developing here with students, auspicious team, the leaders before that, Oloye and so on, and host and so on, providing scholarships to students. We've seen all of this being done. We've seen them give financial aid, exam packages and things like that, but we have to move a step further. In Ghana, Legon, what they did was the students said, okay, we're going to tile the Great Hall, or what is it that they call it, we're going to tile the floor of a particular block. They did that, and the university said, we'll tile 3 times whatever you tile. That's how they tiled all their floors. So we need to engage, we need to cooperate. That's where we are. We're not here to antagonize one another, bearing in mind that the university, and realize that UI is a very liberal university. The DRL mentioned that this election was run by the Electoral Commission. Fantastic. So the Electoral Commission runs the election. Whatever the wahalas they had were resolved. There was not a single petition. The platform that was used for the election, yes, Professor Oguji superintended it, but it was built by students. So, a transparent platform, and that's the same platform that is used for the university elections, whether it's council election, it's Senate election, it's anything. So it was built by students. So the platform, the medium was built by students. The electoral commissioners are students. Those who were elected were students. Everything about the election was done by students. And the same thing applies to so many other things in the university. The accommodation platform that we're going to start using, by God's grace, is built by students. You know, even our records management system and our learning management system, all those adaptations were done largely by our students. So great things are happening, and we must see things from that viewpoint. We're not in El Dorado yet, but we're going to get there with student cooperation. We're going to fix our halls of residence. We're going to fix them with your cooperation. Many of you, some of you are aware, you have been in teams that have gone around the halls to see all the things that we need and have compiled all of those things, and the have been presented to management. And we're going to, the funding is the problem, but by God's grace, we're going to get the funding with your cooperation. Because you know people who have, money bags. So you're going to bring them up, we're going to chase them, we're going to fix our halls, we're going to fix everything that we have to fix. Are we ready? I didn't hear that. Are we ready? No, that's not good enough. Are you ready? No, that's not good enough. Are you ready? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, we asked for an opening remark, but we had a clarion call and a charge to do more. Please appreciate the Dean of Students one more time, Professor Demola Lewis. Before we go to the next item on the agenda, Vice Chancellor, do permit me to acknowledge the presence of two of our former presidents of the Student Union. This particular one delivered a paper on Monday at the retreat. Join me to welcome Dr. Tobiloba Samuel. And also Mr. Bolaji Aweda. It's on that note, I welcome the Deputy Dean, Dr. Comfort Aikiraji, to kindly step forward as we present commendation letters and plaques to the electoral commissioners.
It's my pleasure to present the award of service to the electoral commissioners, starting with Commissioner Olawale Oluwaferanmi O.
Okay, if he's not around, we would keep that for him. Then we go to Salam Moshood Babatunde, representing Alexander Brown Hall. Ajayi Akinkunmi Ezekiel, representing the Great Independence Hall. Ojuolape Festus Mayowa, representing Faculty of Education. Okay. Ojuolape Festus is the chairman of Publicity Subcommittee. Jolade Nasiruddin Adedolapo, Faculty of Science, Chairman, Screening Subcommittee. Olawale Adebayo is Chairman, Security Subcommittee. Salam Babatunde is Chairman, Welfare Subcommittee. And Ajayi Ezekiel is Chairman, Budget Subcommittee. Then we move to Kilanko Timileyin Joshua, Faculty of Agriculture, is the Chairman of Logistics Subcommittee. It's always good to call his name in full. Kilanko, not Kila. Olorutola Michael Ayomide, Faculty of Clinical Sciences, Chairman, Secretary to the Commission, actually. Then we move on to Mark Ogenero, Faculty of Arts. Olakunle Olaudotun Paul, Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences. Ogundeji Damilare, Faculty of the Social Sciences. He has decided to turn it into a pageant, but that's fine. Adekola James Sunday, Faculty of Veterinary Medicine. Ajani Mofifoluwa Gbemileke, Faculty of Technology. Iriyenikon Omosheye Esther, Faculty of Pharmacy. Miriam Ifeoluwani Adigun, Faculty of Law. Olajide Ahmed Abolade, Faculty of Public Health. Oluwo Damilare Samuel, Faculty of Dentistry. Muritala Fatai Atonda, Faculty of Economics and Management Sciences. Adeleke Victoria Adebimpe, Faculty of Renewable Natural Resources. Adeniji Kesta Tolani, Faculty of Environmental Design and Management. Akiade Israel Oluwatobiloba, Faculty of Multidisciplinary Studies. Soname Anuoluapo Goodness, Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences. Elijah David, Faculty of Nursing. Elijah David. Justin Chinonso, Faculty of Computing. Oyedokun Ayomide Daniel, Kenneth Melambi All. Basuno Latif, Lord Teda All. Agbola Ezekiel Oluwaseyi, Sultan Bello All. Adetunji Samson Namdi Azikwe All. Fagbemi Princess Olamidun Queen Elizabeth All. Akinola Oluwafunmilayo Omobolanle Queen Idia All. She's coming with a different look. Your dean is trying to harass you, but we'll defend you. Another round of applause for her. Ola Lucy Susan Ikeoluwaposi Obafemi Awolowo All. VC Batayendu Kokoka. Okawe Dada. Fagade Oluwadamilola Tafawa Balewa O. Oloyede Abimbola Adetun Ogunsheye O. Ola Benson Omokorede Emmanuel Alumni O. Oluyomi David Olanre Wajutete Ransom Kuti O. And ladies and gentlemen, the last and definitely not the least, Abdul Fatai is now around Muhammin Ayodele Falasheho. Please a round of applause for all of them. May you still remain standing. We would like to present commendation letters and awards of service to the outgoing student union executives who have decided to clad themselves in white like their mother and father today. And I would start with auspicious. If you want to clap, don't mice it, clap very well. Okay, with a standing ovation, let's welcome Odedele Covenants. I would like the Dean to join on this particular one. I was hoping the VC would take a group photograph later, but the grandfather and then the registrar has decided to join. I wish I had the privilege of having this kind of photograph when I was an undergraduate. Like one of my mothers say, "Wani omo da ni, e patewo fo mo da." The next I'm going to call is his vice president, who is like his sister. They look like brothers and sisters, probably twins. Join me to welcome Owadayo Olabisi. I welcome the General Secretary, Olowu Oluwashegu. Okay, mommy wants to share in the spotlight. She's the owner of the spotlight, so we give it to her too. Thank you very much. Olowu Oluwasegun, General Secretary. Assistant General Secretary, Olawoye Taiwo. Shegun, you've been asked to come back. Assistant General Secretary Olawoye Taiwo. The money bag of the executives. The treasurer, Bioku Joshua. House Secretary Adeyemi Oluwaseun.
Just a second. Just a word about the House Secretary. A word about him. He's a typical example of how to do politics. He was disqualified in the election, and the next minute, he just took it naturally, and they were having a party afterwards. I mean, like, this is an example of that. Yeah.
For the dean to have said something special about you, report to his office for your gifts. Public Relations Officer Adekombi Ezekiel. Dean, sir. Okay. The Public Relations Officer of the university has decided to join to give you public relations anointing. And the last and not the least, Sports Secretary Kolawole Victor. Please, a round of applause for them. Like we do during convocation ceremonies, Mr. Vice Chancellor, can I draw your attention to the fact that when we were calling the outgoing executives, the incoming executives remained standing. Whoever is mentoring you should come here for a plaque because that's a very noble one. Please appreciate yourselves. On this note, permit me, Mr. Vice Chancellor, to welcome you with the registrar who is here already. Join me to appreciate the 13th registrar of our university, Mr. Gani Okesaliu, to accompany the Vice Chancellor to take a group photograph with the outgoing student union executives. Can the Bossa and the Dean of Art kindly join with the Dean and the Deputy Dean? The Deputy Registrar and the PRO should also join. Thank you. Oh yeah, please come step forward. Some of you can come beside the Deputy Registrar here. Thank you. Can we all echo thank you to them? Thank you for giving us a peaceful tenure. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we're almost done with this ceremony. Every other aspect is going to be done quickly and in close succession. But significantly, we need to hear from the outgoing Student Union President. It's therefore my delight to welcome Covenant Odedele to present his handing over speech at this auspicious occasion.
There is something I want to be. Oh. There is something I want to be. There is something I want to be. Oh. There is something I want to be. Hey, I want to be a Uite. Hey, I want to be a Uite. Hey, I want to be a Uite. There is something I want to be. Àtìgbà táláyé ti dáyé kò sọ́mọ UI tó ṣorí burúkú. Àtìgbà táláyé ti dáyé kò sọ́mọ UI tó ṣorí burúkú. Àwa ló ní UI kò lè bàjẹ́. Àwa ló ní UI kò lè bàjẹ́ o. Oh, greatest Uite, UI la wa wa amora wa. Thank you very much. We can have our seats. Thank you so much. The Vice Chancellor, Professor Kayode Adibowale, FAS MNI. The Registrar of the University, Mr. Ganiyu Okesaliu. The Dean of Students, Professor Demola Lewis.
Please permit me to interrupt. There is a need for the owner of the car, RAV4. It's a silver color, EPE 499H2, EPE 499H2. Please go attend to your car right now. Thank you.
The Registrar of the University, Mr. Gani Okesaliu. The Dean of Students, Professor Demola Lewis. Deputy Dean, Dr. Comfort Aikiraji. Deans of faculties present, the DR students, Mr. S.A. Oyewumi, the Directorate of Public Communications, faculty presidents, hall chairpersons, past presidents of the Students' Union, outgoing Student Union executives, the incoming Student Union executives, members of the Students' Representative Council, and well-wishers, friends, everyone seated here today. It's my delight to stand again on this podium, but giving my handover speech as the president of the University of Ibadan Students' Union one last time. My speech is as a story, showcasing and narrating our lives and times in the Union. Exactly a little over a year ago, I picked up a firm. I did not just enter a race. I entered a covenant with history. I held a piece of paper that was more than a nomination form. It was a summon from destiny, and I entered the campaign season with a fundamental philosophy. Power is not a trophy to be seized, but a narrative to be authored. I understood then, as I do now, that you do not win an election at the polls. You win it in the space where ideas compete for the soul of people through the power of narratives. And that made me realize that if you lose the narrative, you lose the election. And on February 22, 2025, we did not just win an election. We won the mandate. We won a narrative to redefine and reclaim the soul of our Premier Union. When we first assembled here in March, there were people, as good-meaning people and cynics, who predicted and thought that we would make a mess of our great and historic assignment. We dared to ask a biblical question with a modern urgency. Can our union be born in one day? Can our union be transformed in the blink of an eye? Or in this case, 11 months? How much could we do? Our mandate was clear: to make the University of Ibadan Students' Union the most formidable, the most visionary student body in Africa. We set out to prove that the University of Ibadan Students' Union could be the most influential beacon of student leadership in Nigeria, not through noise, but through the quiet, scaling power of empowering those who possessed talents in our community. We set out to create an atmosphere that makes everyone dream, to believe there's a great future, make good friends, make good grades, and of course, make legitimate money. We wanted to create an atmosphere that would make everyone believe they could do or become anything they wanted to. We characterize this tenure as auspicious times, as we all know it. And to the casual observer, auspicious suggests ease or favor. But to those of us in the arena, it signified the convergence of crisis and opportunity. As one who has had the privilege of sitting in rooms where things happen, witnessing the gears of institutional decision making, let no one make the mistake that leadership is glamour. Leadership is an expensive endeavor. I recall the month of May being a period of psychological and physical taxation for a lot of us at the union. While battling my end of posting test, Surgery 2, one of the most rigorous postings in medical school, I was simultaneously navigating the labyrinth of field reversals and deadline extensions. There were nights where we all laid in our offices in the midnight, paralyzed by the weight of students having to lose their suspensions because of their inability to pay fees. Food untouched because, of course, the hunger for our students was more important than the hunger for food. I remember that in those moments, one thing I learned is that posterity is a patient observer. We sacrificed a lot, sleep, comfort, so that we could make our students comfortable. And in all this, today, we look back at a redefined union. We can boast of the following achievements in line with the auspicious mandates alongside our daily promises to give our best. 1, we can boast of a formidable and responsible team of students, volunteers, and student leaders who saddle themselves with the responsibility of putting and giving their best to their work in the union every day. We intervened consistently in issues of light, welfareism, water, security, as much as possible. We ensured the fast tracking of the accommodation process of our students to ensure swift settlement. We organized the Freshers Week, tagged the Premier Excellence, and onboarded the freshers into the University of Ibadan properly. We tightened security systems on and off campus, working with respective stakeholders. We, through the Office of the Dean of Students, influenced key policy decisions, namely the shift from the possible use of kerosene to gas, and also other student-friendly policies on campus. Through our formidable transport committee, we advocated for fair charges, ensured that as much as possible no student was cheated, and the students had a very similar smart transportation experience on campus. We also introduced, in partnership with Stop and Go, an easy card system for ease of payment of transportation. We supported students with more comfortable, conditions during examination periods, notably free exam packages for students, and also supporting with transportation during GS exams. We ensured inclusion of students with disabilities as much as possible in every policy and engagement of the union. We enhanced power supply conditions in the SUB and also liaising with the Works and Maintenance Unit. We notably reversed the 20K late fee for this session. It was successfully waived, which I would also appreciate the management for this opportunity, and also this is retired Professor Adorinke Bairuji for our support in making this happen. We can give a round of applause. As much as possible, we had an avalanche of capacity development engagement for our students. A lot of them, we had partnerships in terms of skill acquisition, capacity development engagement, webinars to empower students with career-ready skills, and a lot more. As much as possible, we also supported students with bursaries to ensure that they do not have to leave school or forfeit the academic pursuits because of inability to pay fees, amongst others. It would be pretentious to suggest that we had not made mistakes, but which earthly institution is free from unavoidable human frailties? Indeed, we have our own mistakes, but on the whole, it is correct to say that this union under our leadership, has conducted herself and our affairs in strict accordance with the best traditions, with credit to ourselves, honor to our university, country, and glory to God. Today, I want to speak shortly regarding our fourth estate, which is the press. It is the duty of the press to express its views candidly in opposition to any government, which is, in its view, is not in the best interest of the people. Criticisms have been made in the union. In this era, we have seen a cacophony of journalists who sometimes parrot ideas than investigating the truth. And to the issues we had to settle when we had to settle an issue where it was said that we obtained a loan from the Central Bank of Nigeria. Ignorance is not always a badge of honor. We, as much as possible, encourage the press to be a fact finder, to not just attack merely, and to not just betray the intellectual tradition of this university. We urge them to return to the path of character and principle and rise above cheap propaganda. Character, integrity, and principle are the hallmarks of a journalist. Do not be a reed shaken by the wind. The aim of any good union is the welfare of the entire people under her jurisdiction. In pursuance of this aim, it is important for a government to please everyone. As long as the government is satisfied that any given policy, measure, program, or decision will rebound to the greatest good of the greatest number of the citizens under its charge, it should be inflexible in its parts. This indeed has been the guiding principle of the leadership of the union since we came into office. To my successor and the incoming student union executives, prudence is the avoidance of evil, but wisdom is the exercise of good. When public opinion tells you to jump, do not ask how high first. Ask why. Then if the why is inconsistent with your values, do not jump at all. But if the why is just as you want to do it, you can jump twice as high as expected. That is excellence. Leadership is the authoritative allocation of value. You decide who gets the honor and who gets the resources. Do nothing because of public opinion. Do everything because of conscience. Recognize injustice and fight it. Not every issue, as Professor Demolale used to tell us, or challenge before you is injustice. Some is genuine incapacitation, and you have to find a way to work with the management to solve this. You can inherit the friends of your predecessor, but never under any circumstances inherit their enemies. Start your own chapter. Always differentiate between your position, which is what you say, your interest, which is what you want, and your need, which is what you must have. As I have learned, defeat is almost always psychological before it is physical. If you lose the battle in your mind, the office is already lost. The union is primarily committed to welfare, but it must not be a blind defender of character flaws. We must be a union that demands as much from its members as it does from its management. And our relevance is not only found in opposition to the management. Change begins with all of us. And I urge every student here today to participate in this change. When you refuse to flush the convenience after using it, you're part of the problems you are creating for us. When you ignore the traffic lights when you're supposed to wait, you're part of the problems we're trying to solve. When you jump a queue and cause chaos, you're part of the problems we're trying to solve. Be dead to the praises and the criticisms of men. Character is the foundation of our greatness. Delayed gratification is intelligent patience. Keep your focus even till the last. Use gratitude ahead of time to overturn bribery. And finally, your wisdom should be able to manage evil at every level of power. The history of strong institutions have been long debated before I was born, and before we know it, people have liberated themselves through free and different methods, of violence, non-compression, and constructive unconstitutional agitation. Throughout this tenure, we have wisely and quite rightly eschewed violence as a suitable weapon for the redemption of our lost freedom. Violence never settles anything right. Apart from injuring out our own souls, it injures the best cause. It lingers on long after this object of decision has disappeared from the scene. And sometimes it plagues the love that we have for those who employed it against their foes. Besides, we are in days when civilized peoples of the world are striving with might to maintain peace in any shape or form in the settlement of disputes. as a union, we committed to succeeding in this noble venture of ensuring a peaceful campus throughout this tenure. And while this happened, it came with its respective sacrifices and mild compromises, but we thank God for success in this regard. Also, it's important to note that the weapon of non-cooperation or boycotts is always an option, but as much as possible should be the last resort. Today, we do not just hand over keys and documents, we also hand over a roadmap. We'll present the 5-year strategic plan for the Student Union. It's a North Star vision structured around 5 pillars of progress. We are not just ending a tenure, we are launching a legacy that will fast-track the transformation of our university. For we know that the people who arrive in this university change this nation, and the ideas that leave this university change the world. I want to encourage the new executives and the new crop of student leaders that we have, that visionaries do not gauge things by how hard it seems. There is a daring posture you have to take, and most importantly, stay staunch and get them done. The undoubted, outstanding, and epoch-making successes over the past 11 months have not been achieved single-handedly. We owe these successes to God's abiding grace and mercy, and to the cooperation of my beautiful colleagues, without exception. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I take this opportunity to pay public tributes to every member of my executive cabinet for their support. I can go on and on to mention their names one after the other. The Vice President, Olabisi Owadayo, the General Secretary, Segun Olowu, the Assistant General Secretary, Olawoye Emmanuel, the Treasurer, Joshua Bioku, the Public Relations Officer, Ezekiel Adekombi, the House Secretary, Seun Adeyemi, and of course the Sports Secretary, Victor Kolawole. And also our parliamentary colleagues at the SRC for their patriotism, public spiritedness, and devotion to duty, and for their unwavering loyalty to the cause of our union. My doxologies are many, and my gratitude is a vast ocean, for it has taken an entire nation, in fact, an entire universe, to bring us here. To the Vice Chancellor, Professor Kayode Oyebode Adebowale, FAS MNI, he is a father. Thank you, thank you, thank you. He is a father. He has shown up as much as possible to support everything we do as a union. He is someone who advocates for student-friendly policies, and as much as possible, he operates a very open-door policy and is always welcome to different ideas to make sure that we have a smooth-running environment on campus. The DVC administration, Professor Peter Olamakinde Olakigba, thank you for your consistent support and the fun moments we've had together. Thank you for always welcoming us every time. Thank you for the privilege you've given to us. So the DVC academic, I would start with the former DVC academic, Professor Aderonke Bayero, now retired. She was an amazing person during her stay as the DVC academic. She was always ready. She was instrumental to ensuring that every student paid their fees, and I would forever cherish the moments that we spent together. To the present DVC academic, Professor Juwan Rotiba, thank you very much for your support, for always being open to us as much as possible. Also to the former DVC Research, Innovations and Strategic Partnerships, Professor Bam Goshe, who also retired earlier in the course of the session. We are very, okay, who also, completed a tenure. We thank you for your support. She was very instrumental when trying to facilitate a particular guest to the university. And also the present DVC RISP, Professor Simisola Akintola, thank you so much for everything, for always being a mother, for praying for us. I will never forget the first time I met her. To the Bursa, Mr. Adeoye Popola, represented by Deputy Bursa Grants, thank you very much for your support. Of course, it's not going to be possible for me to not appreciate our beloved registrar of the university, Mr. Ganiu Okesaliu, who has always been a father. His arms are always wide open every time, and he has always offered us priceless counsel. You never get bored in a conversation with the registrar. And of course, to the Dean of Students. Our tenure was privileged to interact with successions, different, officers of the university at different points in time. So we started the administration with Professor Isaac Adike Abiono, who is also now retired, and he is a father to us. He was always ready to support the union every point in time. You could call him in the midnight, in the morning, in the night, in the evening, in the afternoon. He was always available. And of course, to the present Dean of Students, Professor Ademola Anthony Lewis. And of course, the Deputy Dean, Dr. Comfort Aikiraji. Thank you very much for your efforts, for always being friendly, for making work fun, for making work interesting, for always seeing things from our perspectives, and also always indulging us as much as possible. Thank you so much. To the Provost of the College of Medicine, thank you so much, sir, for your support. I am from the College of Medicine, and I must say that I had this very good relationship with the Provost, especially when we had to settle the MD-CAN strike. Thank you very much for your interventions and everything you did for us. Also to the University Librarian, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for everything you do, Dr. Mercy Uraganachi. To my sub-dean, Dr. Emi Ajani, who is not presently here, he signed my nomination form and believed in the medical students with a dream. And my dean, Professor T. Lawal, thank you for seeing the president when others only saw the medical students. To my friends, Ilerioluwa Ayoyinka, David, Joseph Oli Michael, you witnessed me at my most vulnerable states, and you supported me as much as possible. I want to appreciate Professor Lajide, Professor Jonathan, Professor Ainua Deogun, the Chief Security Officer of the university, Mr. Lasisi. The security unit, Mr. Oyekomi Lasisi, the security unit, porters of hostels, vendors, tenants in SUB, and everyone. I want to appreciate our driver, Mr. Olasenide, for his support. Thank you for everything. He is a father. He is a genuine father, and always showed up even when it wasn't comfortable for him. I want to appreciate Dr. Femi Oyamaki, the president of Senior Staff Club, for always supporting us as much as possible. And also, all our sister unions on campus. To the Council of Presidents before me, I don't know where to start from. Thank you for the tutelage. God in his providence knew that I would be the president of the Students' Union when I met Tokumbo Salako 8 years ago, when I was just the senior prefect boy of Wesley College, Ibadan. And later on, I would go on to become the president of the Students' Union of our university. His tutelage, guidance, mentorship, and experience would always prove relevant in my journey. I want to appreciate the League of Presidents before me. I will start with Ojo Aderemi also, then Mr. Barrister Akeji Olusegun, Dr. Adeyinka Adewale Mascot, Dr. Samson Samuel Tobiloba, and of course, my immediate predecessor, Dr. Bolaji Oloyaweda. I mean, with 3 doctors in front of me, I'm in line to be the next doctor. I remember my departmental president who doubted me and also gave me a lot of backlash during my administration. He reminded me that progress is fought in adversity, and now we are good friends. I want to appreciate my Hall of Residence, the Great Independence Hall. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The elders and the stakeholders of Great Independence Hall, thank you for your support and making sure we did this together. I want to appreciate as well Alexander Brown Hall, my other hall as well. Thank you for your support and everything. I want to appreciate my fellowship, Christ Ambassador Student Outreach. I want to especially appreciate my friends who stood with me while I was preparing for my medical board exams, navigating my second medical board exams as a medical student, and also going through the rigor of being student union president wasn't easy. They made sure, it's not what you think, I can bet. They made sure that I had a very successful run, and I did not, falter as much as possible. Thank you very much. I want to appreciate friends and brothers and sisters of the union who always showed up for us, supported us, got us resources that we needed as much as possible. I want to appreciate Mrs. Adeoye, who was formerly in the Students' Affairs Division, for our support as much as possible. Thank you very much, Mommy, for always receiving us with open arms. Of course, I want to appreciate my family, my dad, my mom, and my siblings. My dad told me that if I hadn't gone for the Student Union presidency, he probably would not have been happy. He's not here today, but thank you, Daddy, for your support. I want to also appreciate my parents, my extended family, for allowing me go the extra mile as much as possible and also seeing my win as their win. And finally, I want to appreciate all our students. Thank you for supporting us. We couldn't have done this without you. Thank you very much for your immense support, and as much as possible, thank you very much for always understanding us, even when you probably had reasons to misunderstand us. Of course, my work is not done if I do not acknowledge the Deputy Registrar students, the Office of the Deputy Registrar students, for their support in this journey. We had a lot of successions also. We started with Mr. T.I. Musa, and he's also retired now, and also Mr. S.A. Oyewumi. Thank you very much, sir, for your support, for your guidance, and for always helping us. And as well, Mrs. Lawal, for our usual, for the handshake that we had, in all of this. The work of a student leader is greatly sacrificial, and my heart goes out to many of us student leaders whose CGPA suffered as a result of this role. While leaders are expected to pour out themselves, they should as well not lose themselves in the journey. However, it is easier said than done, and I pray grace for all of us. I recall the words of a former president, Dr. Adewale Adeyinka Mascot, who said SU presidents would most likely need therapy after their tenure in the union. It's not exactly a lie. And just recently, when we visited Professor Simisola Akintola, she posed the question to myself and my executives, what's next after the union? Now, as I fulfill my constitutional duty, I am withdrawing from the limelight into a season of selective availability, and to make myself morally invulnerable and intellectually formidable, and to focus on my profession. However, as it has been emphasized by my predecessors, when you leave the union doesn't leave you. As I still have 2 years on this campus, I will be playing my role as Providence may from time to time entrust to me. As I close this chapter, I leave you with the words of the preacher in Ecclesiastes 9:11. The race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, but time, auspicious times, and chance happen to them all. We have had our time. We have taken our chance. And it has been, in every sense of the word, auspicious. The ideas that leave this university change the world, and the race continues. The union remains, and I have come here this morning or afternoon, therefore, to take my bow on this exalted stage to the audience before whom I have performed these 11 past months. Having fulfilled all my constitutional duties and all of my promise, and that of the extended executive council, today I hereby hand over the University of Ibadan Students' Union to the new executives. As we leave the union, certain things give me great satisfaction. One, we are leaving behind a team of executives, the team Diligence, whose competence and sense of duty are undoubted. A body of legislators to be, whose patriotism will not win, and a league of student leaders who are mature-minded, future-forward, and ready. Secondly, our administrative structure in the union has been very much improved, and we are living together a solid team of volunteers and a workforce that is exceedingly efficient, absolutely incorruptible, and utterly devoted. For our volunteers, the heavy and multifarious burdens with which you have, in the interest of the public, saddled has shown your loyalty and your devotion, of physical and mental endurance and a sense of mission on your part. From the bottom of my heart, I salute you all. And finally, we're leaving the union in a very good state economically. The economy of the union is in a very healthy state, and I can be sure that the new executives have the resources to steer the union forward and even leverage for even much greater good. Before I go, permit me to pay my last condolences to 3 students that we lost in the course of the tenure: Oxygen, Esther, and Emmanuel. May their gentle souls rest in perfect peace. God bless the University of Ibadan. God bless the University of Ibadan Students Union. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Please put your hands together for Mr. Covenant Odedele. You would agree with me that that speech is a rehearsal for greater responsibilities to come. And it's been a beautiful rehearsal. Please put your hands together for him and his team one more time. Before we go to the next item on the agenda, I would like to announce to you that we have the full complement of principal officers of our university here present at this inauguration ceremony. It's therefore my delight to acknowledge the presence of our Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, Professor Peter Olamakide Olapeba. Flanking him to the left is the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic Professor Juwon Arotiba. And also the enigmatic woman, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research, Innovation and Strategic Partnerships, Professor Simisola Akintola. The University Librarian is also here, Dr. Mercy Iruaganachi. And it's also my delight to welcome the Provost of the College of Medicine, Professor Temidayo Ogudiro. And also, I would like to acknowledge the presence of one of our shining lights in the registry of our university, a former registrar of Babcock University, who is back home now. Bowen University, pardon me, Mr. Babatunde Adetono. You may as well come and sit with other deputy registrars up here, sir. Please put your hands together for him as he comes up. Thank you very much. Vice Chancellor, the outgoing Student Union executives have a very short presentation which the outgoing president is going to run through in the next 5 minutes. It's therefore my pleasure to invite Covenant Odedele one last time to come take us through this presentation before we move on to administer the oath of office to the incoming executive. Please, a round of applause for him as he comes forward.
Thank you very much. I would lean on the existing protocols to briefly do this, and I'm happy to be here today because this is a long dream that I've always had when I decided to run for the presidency of the Students' Union. And very quickly, I'm glad to announce that we would be shortly unveiling the 5-year strategic vision for the University of Ibadan Students' Union. We believe so much that our union over the years has very rich history and legacy, and it can be leveraged properly, and also we can effectively plan for the future of the union such that we have a very sustainable legacy, a future in the future, and also such that successive administrations can build on this vision. So very quickly, the vision, our identity, the vision of the University of Ibadan Students' Union is to be an intellectually formidable and globally influential body of repute, representing, advocating, and championing the interests of University of Ibadan students at local, national, and international levels. And our strapline, as we all know it, is an injustice to one is what? An injustice to all. Our mission, 4 cardinal missions: to serve and engage students, to serve, engage, and represent students, to embark on projects and organize events that build camaraderie on campus, to ensure a vibrant campus ecosystem that affords every student the opportunity to dream, enjoy community, make grades, and make legitimate money, and to empower students to pursue their interests, see the world in new ways, and develop the necessary skill sets needed to impact the world. We have here our identity, vision enablers. We have a SWOT analysis of the union, our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I mean, to talk about the opportunities, strategic partnerships, national and international funding support, vast, highly connected alumni network, technology and media policy advocacy, and others. Also, our weaknesses and threats, vulnerable infrastructure, dependence on external funding, infrastructure maintenance challenges, and of course the threats, the short leadership cycle. The average tenure in the students' union spends about 10 to 11 months, lack of complete autonomy, donor fatigue, and a whole lot that I have to go through. But just quickly go to the pillars in which this vision is actually anchored on. One is intellectual excellence and human capital. 2, student welfare and social infrastructure. 3, financial sustainability and economic independence. 4, governance, reform, and institutional memory. And 5, civic engagement, strategic advocacy, and international placement. We're looking at a union that by 2030, the University of Ibadan Students' Union will no longer be a union, just every union, or just another union struggling to survive or thrive. Would be a thriving, self-sustaining institution that delivers value to every member of the University of Ibadan community and beyond. So what are our key projects? I'll just highlight, because of time, this will be made public for us to actually access, and as much as possible, we can go through it. But because of time, I'll just quickly rush through the implementation roadmap from 2025 to 2030. In 2025, what did we do? What were we able to achieve as the foundational year for implementing this 5-year policy? We introduced the UISU Leadership Code of Conduct and the UISU Creed, comprising the vision, mission, statement. We conducted consistent leadership town halls and campus-wide orientation programs for students and student leaders. Alongside the Office of the Dean of Students, we are glad to announce that we were able to achieve the first campus-wide infrastructure needs assessment in a long while to assess the state of our hostels and also prepare what it would take to actually put these things in good shape. We organized campus-wide orientation programs to adequately inform the next generation of student leaders. We ensured smooth and proper transition between our administration and the incoming administration. And most importantly, we laid out this 2026 to 2030 strategic blueprint. So in 2026 to 2027, we hope to inaugurate the Board of Trustees and Committee of Past Presidents, launch aggressive fundraising within national and international institutions, and of course within alumni, to possibly kickstart a project which I call the 1,000 capacity lecture theater, and also solar projects for existing lecture theaters on campus. Also, we would begin to host the annual UISU Civic Engagement event, and also our Social Impact Fund. And also, within 2026 and 2027, host founders of companies and multinationals to annually, recruit students, talents, graduates into companies and facilitate internship opportunities for students. Within 2028 and 2029, we have a very big dream, which I know is very possible and is very achievable, to fully transition every hall of residence, in working alongside the school management, to fully transition all halls of residence to solar-powered, both in terms of power supply and, of course, water supply as much as possible. To launch a maintenance culture policy in halls of residence, and also to launch the University of Ibadan Students' Union Endowment Fund. And finally, in 2030, we would have a review of all of these plans that we have laid out, and also plan again for the next decade for 2030 to 2040. To monitor this leadership, how do we know we're making progress? Leadership would have increased participation in leadership training and higher ratings, of course, for the university. Academic excellence, increased growth in research output, and recognition beyond the national level. Welfare, improved student satisfaction, both in terms of academics and in terms of living conditions. Civic responsibility, we have a lot more community projects that have impacted other unions, foster other unions. We're able to work with a group of student leaders in the University of Lagos to actually revive the University of Lagos Student Union, and I'm happy to announce that through our support, University of Lagos Student Union would be revived soon enough. Also, union identity, to enhance student engagement in union programs through our congresses and of course our annual union weeks. In closing, this vision and the compilation of these plans will serve as a living charter that anchors the University of Ibadan Student Union to its enduring mandate of service, excellence, and representation. Through deliberate collaboration with every key stakeholder, of course the Student Affairs Unit, the university management, the principal officers of the university, and of course the Student Representative Council, alumni, and other allied partners, the union is not only poised to preserve our historic premier status, we are also going to boldly redefine the frontiers of student leadership in Nigeria. This plan is a solemn commitment to institutional sustainability, the advancement of our student movement, and the continual development of a students' union that remains responsive to the evolving needs and aspirations of its constituency. This was not done in isolation. This was conceived and prepared, one by every member of the University of Ibadan students, collating feedback responses from the needs and aspirations of students of our community, and also amassing all the legacies and efforts of past leaders of the union. This vision calls upon all of us to make it happen. Together, we affirm our resolve to build a future-ready union that stands as a beacon of leadership, innovation, and collective progress. May the University of Ibadan Students' Union continue to tower high. Thank you very much for listening.
Well, another big round of applause for such a brilliant envisioning. Mr. Vice Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, it's on this note, I would like to invite the registrar to administer the oath of office for the incoming executives and student leaders. Please, a round of applause for Mr. Ganiu Okesaliu.
The Vice Chancellor of the only university in Nigeria. I thought somebody would clap. There is only one university in Nigeria, and that is the University of Ibadan. All the others are campuses of the University of Ibadan. Let me adopt the already well-established protocols. I'm happy to carry out this assignment once again. And I will, if I had been a teacher and I am asked to mark the script, I will give the outgoing president 98%. I would have given 100% if you are wearing your identity card today. That is why I deducted 1 mark. The second mark I deducted because you did not acknowledge the person that is keeping all your books, the university librarian. That's the only person that, oh, you did. Okay, you have scored 99.9. Congratulations. Now it is my responsibility to ask some people to take over your job. I hope you will not mind. Well, that's life. we move on. So I would like to invite members of the Student Executive Council elect to stand and remain standing. You will raise your right hand and you will go through this oath of office after me. I mention your name and your student's identification number. We are not hearing you. Elected as member, mention your office, of University of Ibadan Student Union, do solemnly swear to be loyal and faithful to the Constitution of the University of Ibadan Student Union, and more importantly, I shall at all times behave responsibly and abide by all the rules and regulations governing the conduct of students of the university. I promise to discharge my constitutional duties faithfully and promote the good name of the university through any legitimate medium and cooperate with other organizations whose aims and objectives are acceptable to the Student Union and the University of Ibadan. I shall be responsible for restitution of any property of the Union and or the university lost or damaged in my custody, and also for any action or inaction taken by me or on my behalf by proxy. So help me God. Amen. Congratulations. Please, you may take your seats. Kindly complete that oath as appropriate and return to the Deputy Registrar students as soon as possible. Now, the Students Representative Council, SRC. Can members please stand and remain standing as we go through the oath of office? I mention your name and your student identification number. Elected as member, mention your office, of the University of Ibadan Student Union, do solemnly swear to be loyal and faithful to the Constitution of the University of Ibadan Student Union, and more importantly, I shall at all times behave responsibly and abide by all the rules and regulations governing the conduct of students of the university. I promise to discharge my constitutional duties faithfully and promote the good name of the university through any legitimate medium and cooperate with other organizations whose aims and objectives are acceptable to the Student Union and the University of Ibadan. I shall be responsible for restitution of any property of the union and or the university lost or damaged in my custody, and also for any action or inaction taken by me or on my behalf by proxy. So help me God. Congratulations. You may take your seats. Please ensure you complete the oath forms and submit to the Deputy Registrar's students as soon as possible. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Registrar. He has administered the oath of office on the new executives of our student union. So it's on that note, it's my pleasure to welcome to give his inaugural speech, the newly elected student union president of the University of Ibadan. Join me to welcome Mr. Adeboye Temidayo Sewanu.
Àtìgbà táláyé ti dáyé kò sọ́mọ UI tó ṣorí burúkú. Àtìgbà táláyé ti dáyé kò sọ́mọ UI tó ṣorí burúkú. Àwa ló ní UI. Àwa ló ní UI. Kò lè bàjẹ́ o. Oh, greatest UI la wa amora wa. And of the greatest UI, ever diligent UI, ever vibrant UI, ever auspicious you are, and of the greatest gbagba, auspicious gbogbo, diligent sure, jẹ́wọ́. Shh. The Vice Chancellor. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The Vice Chancellor, Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, Deputy Vice Chancellor Academics, Deputy Vice Chancellor Research, Innovation and Strategic Partnership, the Registrar, the Buzzer, the Librarian, the Dean of Students, Deputy Dean of Students, Deputy Registrar Students, distinguished members of the management, invited guests, past and present student leaders, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow great students of the University of Ibadan, good day. On the 13th of December 2025, the students of this great institution came out in their numbers to exercise one of the most powerful tools of democracy, their vote. At the end of that historic process, and in the true spirit of responsibility and diligence, the students celebrated themselves as I was declared the president-elect of the University of Ibadan Student Union. For this mandate, I remain deeply grateful. First and foremost, I return all glory to the Almighty God, the giver of life, the sustainer of destinies, and the one who orders moments such as this. Indeed, it is by His grace that we stand here today. And I humbly pray that He grants us wisdom, humility, and strength to serve selflessly, and that He continues to guide the University of Ibadan on the path of excellence. I sincerely thank every student of the University of Ibadan who believed in this vision, and every student who participated in the democratic process. I also appreciate the university management for sustaining an environment where student leadership continue to thrive. I do not take this responsibility lightly. I am privileged to serve alongside a team of dedicated, capable, and purpose-driven executives. Together, we accept this mandate with humility and a shared commitment to serve the students with integrity, accountability, and unity of purpose. I also acknowledge my department, whose legacy since its establishment in 1948 stand as a reminder that excellence is built over generation. If history recalls that I am the first from this department to serve as a student union president, I see it not as a personal achievement, but as a testament to the enduring values of this university and the boundless possibilities it offers to students. Distinguished guests and fellow students, the University of Ibadan Student Union is not just an association, it is an institution, one built on history, character, and responsibility. Over the years, student unionism in UI has remained a voice, sometimes loud, sometimes calm, but always necessary. It has served as a bridge between students and management, a shield for welfare, and a training ground for leadership. Today, I stand here not merely as an individual, but as a product of that legacy. I must acknowledge the sacrifice and dedication of past union leaders who laid the foundation upon which we now stand. From the integration era led by Barrister Akeju Olusegun to team consolidation led by my Egbon, Dr. Adewale Adeyinka Mascot, to team rebirth led by my brother and leader, Dr. Samuel Samson Tobiloba Ost, to team amelioration led by Dr. Bolaji Aweda Oloye, and to my predecessor and brother, Covenant Badedili, who brought about the auspicious phase of our union. Each administration, in its own way, strengthened the fabric of unionism in UI. We honor you and we draw wisdom from your experience. This inauguration does not mark the beginning of promises, it marks the beginning of responsibility. During the campaign season, a vision was presented to the students of the University of Ibadan, the Diligence Plan. Today, as president of our great union, I affirm that this administration is not built on noise, hostility, or empty rhetoric. It is built on presence, listening, and collaboration, even execution. The diligent administration understands that the student's welfare is holistic. Academic success, accommodation, inclusion, security, representation, and personal goods are interconnected. This is why our approach is inclusive, consultative, and solution-driven. We are committed to a student union that is present in halls, present in faculties, present off campus, present for persons living with disabilities, present for postgraduates, present for creatives, athletics, every student who calls UI home. To the university management, ably led by my respected Vice Chancellor, Professor Kaide Adibowale, sir, we recognize the enormous responsibility you bear in administering Africa's best premier university, particularly in these challenging economic times confronting our nation. We acknowledge the deliberate efforts of this administration in sustaining the academic environment and ensuring that despite national constraints, our university continues to function effectively. This student leadership, sir, comes not with hostility, but with partnership. We firmly believe that when students and management work together in mutual respect and understanding, sustainable and people-centered solutions emerge. Sir, permit me, with utmost humility and respect, to bring to your compassionate attention a matter that weighs heavily on the hearts of students. There exists a postgraduate student, one of our own, who has diligently fulfilled all academic requirements for graduation, but due to one or two administrative challenges, is yet to be formally cleared. We appeal, sir, not to policy, but to your fatherly understanding and compassionate leadership, that this case be looked into with mercy, fairness, and urgency. We trust in your wisdom and your proven commitment to student welfare. Furthermore, sir, we wish to... Thank you so much. Furthermore, sir, we wish to sincerely appreciate the university management for the level of electricity supply currently available on campus. In a country faced with persistent power challenges, the relative stability of electricity within the university community is a testament to the commitment of this administration, and we do not take it for granted. However, sir, in the same spirit of respect and partnership, we humbly draw your attention to a recurring challenge affecting students in Ring 5 Road, Hall of Residence. The transformer supplying these clusters of halls has become increasingly unreliable, often developing faults and results to prolonged power outage, lasting several days, even after repairs are undertaken. The challenge frequently reoccurs, disrupting students' academic work and daily living. In a similar vein, we respectfully bring to your attention the persistent power supply challenge affecting medical students within the University College Hospital, UCH. Given the demanding nature of medical training, which requires extended hours of study, clinical preparation, and access to stable electricity, this recurrent outage poses significant academic and welfare concern. We recognize the unique administrative and infrastructural context of UCH and sincerely appreciate the efforts that have been made thus far. We therefore humbly request that sustainable solution be explored to more stable and reliable power supply for our medical students. Sir, we fully appreciate the technical, logical, and financial demands involved in maintaining such infrastructure. We raise this concern not as an accusation, but as a sincere plea from students who believe in your listening ears and human leadership. Once again, we approach you not in opposition, but in cooperation, confident that when management listens with empathy and students speak with responsibility, progress is not possible, but inevitable. Distinguished guests, one of the most pressing challenges confronting students today is accommodation. The growing student population has placed immense pressure on existing facilities, with direct consequence on students' academic performance and mental well-being. At this point, I respectfully call on the federal government of Nigeria, under the leadership of the President of our dear nation, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to support the University of Ibadan in expanding its accommodation infrastructure. Investment in student housing is an investment in national development. We humbly propose that new hostel projects be initiated, projects that may also be named in honor of distinguished Nigerians whose contribution have elevated our nation. Such legacies will inspire students while addressing a critical welfare need. To the Governor of Oyo State and to our father, His Excellency, Governor Seyi Makinde, we deeply appreciate your continuous support for education and youth development in Oyo State. However, students residing off campus in areas such as Agbowo, Samanda, Barika, and their environs face significant challenges, particularly outrageous and unregulated agent fee, which expose students to financial exploitation and hardship. We respectfully request government intervention through the regulation of agent fees by establishing a government-approved percentage to protect students from fraud and excessive charges. Furthermore, sir, we bring to your attention the urgent need for an overhead pedestrian bridge around the University of Ibadan axis, following the tragic incidents that occurred last year due to unsafe road crossing. This project has become a matter of life, safety, and welfare, not only for students, but for the wider public. Such an intervention will stand as a long-lasting testament to your administration's commitment to human life and student welfare. My fellow students, this union will listen before it speaks, act before it explains, and always accounts for its action. We will communicate transparently and engage students consistently. As we move forward, let us remember that the strength of our dear union lies not only in its executives, but in the collective participation of students. Unionism thrives when students are involved, informed, and united. With humility and clarity of purpose and unwavering dedication, I, Adeboye Temidayo Sewanu, accepted this responsibility to serve. Together, we will build a union that works with the students, for the students, and in the best interest of all UITs. Of the greatest UITs, ever diligent UITs, ever articulate UITs, thank you for this mandate to serve. God bless the University of Ibadan Student Union. God bless the University of Ibadan. God bless your state. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Aluta continua, Victoria Asata.
Thank you very much, our President. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, before the Vice Chancellor speaks, I would like to invite the Deputy Registrar of our Student Affairs Division, Mr. Sulaiman Oyewumi, to present certificates of return to members of the Student Union executives. Can we put hands together for him as he comes forward? The first, and obviously the first person I'm going to call, is the president of the Student Union of the University of Ibadan for the 2025-2026 academic session. Please put your hands together as I call up Adeboye Temidayo Sewanu. Now, ladies and gentlemen, he is representing students of the University of Ibadan. So we welcome him to sit on the high table with principal officers of our university to connote student involvement in administration of the university. May I invite the Vice President, Salawu Durojaye Glory. Wait. She's eager to get to work. The General Secretary, Shonton Joshua Olushola. Assistant General Secretary, Fidelia Egbongon Esiele. Treasurer of our Student Union, Ode John Honor. House Secretary, Tifashe Oluwatimileyin. Public Relations Officer, Awofadeju Olasunkanmi Alabi. Sports Secretary, Shiyobade Adedamola Olalekan. Please, a round of applause for all of them. Ladies and gentlemen, I mentioned earlier that because of the importance of this occasion, the Vice Chancellor had to fly into the city this morning. And he has been here since we started. And I know he has a lot to say, a lot of reflections, charge, admonitions, and clarion calls. It's on that note, I would like you to rise up on your feet to give him a standing ovation. As I invite the 13th Vice Chancellor, Professor Kayode Oyebode Adebowale, MNIFAS, to give his speech at this inaugural ceremony.
Thank you. Kindly take your seats. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege for me to be with you. Let me first apologize that I had to hold this meeting on for approximately 1 hour. By all my calculations, I would have been expected to be here before 11 o'clock, because I know that this program will have commenced a little bit earlier. But I gave them 11 o'clock with all assurance that I was going to be here before 11. Let me tell you how I moved this morning. I left my hotel room in Abuja exactly 4 a.m. this morning. And it is for me to catch a flight that should leave by 6:30. Unfortunately, you don't have too much control over when a plane will take off. We all gathered there. The expectation is that being the first flight from Abuja, usually you won't have a lot of rescheduling. But when it was 6:30 and we didn't hear any news at all, we knew that something had happened. And what we had was that due to operational reasons, that is going to be delayed for 40 minutes. And usually when you hear 40 minutes, forget it, it's 1 hour. Because before the 40 minutes, they are supposed to have made an announcement, but they will make it exactly 6:30. They will have gained almost 20 minutes, before you start to board. And the plane came. We still have some time. I would have also been here. But unfortunately, again, as soon as we landed and we were on the road, in front of us, we saw some vehicles. And lo and behold, it was central bank vehicles. And usually, you can't overtake. Once you are unlucky to have central bank van in front of you, either on the express, either on the dual carriage, whatsoever that it is, you have to go at their pace. Usually, they go between 60 to 80 kilometers per hour. So all of us lined up from Lagos. A journey that is supposed to last for 1.5 hours was extended. And essentially, that was the reason why. So I sincerely apologize. I hope you accept my apology. The Deputy Vice Chancellor, Administration, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research, Innovation and Strategic Partnerships. The Registrar that I've just taken his leave now, I'm sure is on the road. The University Librarian, the representative of the Bossa, Provost of our college, College of Medicine, the Dean of Students, the Deputy Dean, the Dean of Arts, First Faculty, the Head of Department of European Studies, Deputy Registrar Students, outgoing, incoming, student executive, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I've always said it everywhere that I'm a student of history. And thank God that the Dean of Arts is a professor. He belongs to the Ibadan School of History. I remember that some time ago, on February the 1st of 1971, I remember that time I was in primary 5. There was a student leader here, that's approximately 55 years ago. There was a student leader in this university, Adekunle Ademuyiwa Adepeju, that the life was cut short. Very, very unfortunate. I want us to rise for a 1-minute silence to remember him. Very unfortunate. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Kindly take your seat. Very early today, I put my pen on paper on some of the things that I needed to say. So I have a written speech. I will take some time to go through that speech. And thereafter, I will respond directly to some of the points and issues that have been raised by the new president, and also make some remarks on the UI Vision 2030. You know, this vision is like the vision of a vice chancellor. I'm sure there may be many of the things that he may not be able to, to be able to achieve based on the capacity to be able to do it, to implement. But let me give you the assurance that the university administration will support. It is with immense pleasure and profound sense of institutional pride that I stand before you today on this auspicious occasion. On behalf of Senate, congregation, and the entire university management, I extend my warmest congratulations to the newly sworn-in members of the Student Union Executive Council, as well as the Students' Representative Council. Your election is a significant testament to the trust and confidence that your fellow students have placed in your ability to lead, to represent, and also to advocate for their interests. Let me inform you and remind you again that you are stepping into a leadership roles within one of the best Africa's university, an institution called University of Ibadan, built on the foundation of excellence, of integrity, and also of transformative impact. As someone who have worked these some halls as an undergraduate student of this university, undergraduate student of chemistry, in 1980, actually September 15, 1980. And a person who has also dedicated his academic and administrative career to this institution, from being graduate assistant, to being a professor, to being the dean of students and the deputy vice chancellor administration, and finally being the vice chancellor. I understand intimately the unique spirit of Ibadan. It is a spirit that demands the highest standards. And as the saying goes, if it is from Ibadan, it must be of outstanding quality. I want this to be the guiding principle of your administration. Your inauguration today is not merely a ceremonial event. It is a solemn transition of responsibility. You now carry the mantle representing over 45,000 voices. I therefore urge you to reflect on the oath that you have just taken. Leadership, as you will learn, is less about authority and much more about service. Less about rhetoric, more about diligence and also constructive engagement. Your predecessors have set a platform, and now the work continues daily to build the Rome that is our ideal university community. Number one, we need to together champion academic excellence. First and foremost, you are students. We expect that your administration will foster an environment where academic excellence will be paramount. This includes promoting innovative ideas to support learning while also working with the Dean of Students and the Student Affairs Office in order to address any systemic academic concerns. Let me assure you that the management is always ready to listen to well-articulated, evidence-based proposals that will enhance our academic ecosystem. Two is in terms of advocating for students' welfare. We are aware of the pressing welfare issues that you have championed. First, although this was not mentioned, transportation is one of them. Hall facilities, you mentioned power. You also mentioned about, well, you didn't mention water supply, but I'm mentioning it here. And also healthcare services. I've told you that I will respond to some of the points thereafter. The university management is not an adversary on these matters. We are indeed partners. The administration is committed to an open door policy. However, effective advocacy is rooted in continuous dialogue, in factual presentation and collaborative search for solutions, even within a challenging constraints. I therefore charge you to be conduit for this responsible and productive dialogue. Next is fostering innovation and sustainable development. If we look beyond immediate concern, I want to challenge you to think about your legacy. How can your administration leave a sustainable impact? I encourage you to champion initiatives, particularly in entrepreneurship, in digital literacy, and environmental sustainability on our campus. I therefore again invite you to collaborate with the relevant university units to organize and equip students for the world beyond your graduation. Next is in ensuring peace, security, and unity. Because I know that the peace and stability of our campus are non-negotiable. Your leadership must be a unifying force. You must represent all the students, fostering an inclusive environment where every voice is heard and respected, and where disagreements are channeled through constructive and constitutional means. What is now my final charge to the new leaders? To the president and the entire team, the university expects you to lead with integrity, to lead with transparency and accountability. Be accessible to those that you serve. Employ truth in all your administrations. Remember that your interest of the collective student body must always override any personal or sectional interest. You have the unique opportunity to shape an unforgettable academic year. Commitment from the university management. My administration pledges to work with you as responsible partners. The doors of myself and the university management, the Dean of Student Affairs, and the entire Student Affairs Office will remain open for regular consultation and frank discussions. In conclusion, I congratulate you once again, and may God grant you the wisdom, the courage, and the patience that as you embark on this noble journey of service. And I pray that your tenure will be filled with impactful achievement and enduring legacy. Thank you, and God bless you. There are a number of issues that have been raised. The first one is electricity. I can tell you that the challenge about electricity supply is not a challenge of a university, it's a national challenge. And I'm sure that if you ask some of the people that are staying outside, and I'm sure that even if you ask your parents and your wards, they will be able to tell you details of those challenges. University of Ibadan is on the priority list of the Ibadan Electricity Distribution Company. And I can tell you that when, even throughout the state, when they look at customers, University of Ibadan is there on top. Not because of the amount that is collected from us, but also that we have developed a relationship with them. I can tell you there are a number of things that I may not be able to say, but I can tell you that when this administration came on board, we were paying 144 million average per month in terms of electricity supply. The overhead that is coming from government is just about 24 million. And even in some instances, not all will be disbursed. Our expenditure per month is in excess of 300 million per month. So you see the challenge of a chief executive. So many times, when I see the bursar, there are certain questions that I don't ask him, that I don't even want to know. And that is how much of money we have in our treasury single account. Because each time I hear about it, I develop headache. But I can tell you that when you compare even the electricity supply that we have, first let me tell you that University of Ibadan is unique. It's one of the few universities that will have the underground cabling system. You will notice that you don't have electric poles flying all over the places. But it comes also with its challenge. Because when it came with the founding fathers, each time I hear Kenneth Mellamy, usually I doff my hat. That is the first principal and vice chancellor of this great university, Professor Kenneth Mellamy, 1948 to 1953. Was the one that laid the foundation, an enduring foundation of this university. Was the one that says no to electric poles. The standard must be the standard of the University of London. At that time, the type of cables that we have underground is called the lead cables. It's the best at that time. But you know, over time, it needed also to be replaced. And unfortunately, you know, the challenge of maintenance of underground cable is very high. But I can tell you that is the best. Some of the challenges that we face with electricity supply on campus. Sometimes those lead cables, because it's oil that serves as the insulator. With time, it needed to be replaced. And you know the network all over the campus. We have covered almost the 1,550 hectares of space with electricity. Even our Ajibode extension, the Olajuwon-Olaide extension, have been covered with our 11 kV substation. The cost to be able to maintain it is very high, but I can tell you that is the best. But let me come back home to say that the electricity supply that we have, that we are currently having, if we do not have challenges with our underground cables and so on, because all those underground lead cables, we are replacing it with PVC cables, which is much better for this time. Usually, any time that we have challenges with the underground cable, we put the PVC cables there. But the PVC cables is almost 10 times as expensive, more expensive than even the lead cables. So if we don't have challenges with our underground cables, the electricity supply from IBD is usually a little bit less than 20 hours in a day. So sometimes when you don't have electricity supply, it may not really be that it's two things. It may be that there is a systemic failure of electricity from IBD, which happens occur very frequently. Or we have our challenges with our underground cables. If with all things being equal, the supply will be slightly less than 20 hours. And it is deliberate that we don't want it to be 20 hours. The Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration will not want me to say the reason why. But we don't want to achieve that. Because you know you are aware of band something, band nonsense, band all those ones. Put together, band A, band B, band all those ones. Because once you hit the 20 hours, and you multiply it, you see that that is approximately 600 hours you are already in band A. And the difference between band A and band B is almost 4 times the charge. So you see the reason why we had to do that. With the College of Medicine that you have said, we have peculiar problems. I won't say too many things about it, but you can, I'm happy that the provost is here. There is politics, there are challenges that we have there. Unfortunately, well, we hope that one day, even the University College Hospital will return back to the University of Ibadan. We hope it. We will do as much as we can to be able to, but let me inform you that through the Minister of Power and the Rural Electrification Agency, there is now a 12 megawatts of electricity that have been approved for the University of Ibadan, the College of Medicine, as well as the University College Hospital. It will be launched in the next few weeks. It's not a matter of months, few weeks. I've spoken with the contractor that is coming from the federal government, and I can assure you that in the next few weeks, it will be launched. If you have that amount of electricity coming, we know it is, but we will also need to apply wisdom. We will not leave the grid. We will only use, the supply of 12 megawatts to be able to support and augment what we have. No doubt that what we are getting, even now from IBDM, will be cheaper and will be more enduring, because the maintenance of independent power plant for an institution like this is if there is a serious challenge, we may not be able to. So that's why the wisdom is that we will not leave the grid. We have the supply. I don't know what they are going to give us here on campus. But together, it's between 12 and 13 megawatts. The full load, at full load, which is, I think, around 9 p.m. or thereabout in the university, we consume about 7 to 8 megawatts. The whole of UCH and the College of Medicine can't take more than 2 megawatts at also their full load. So I'm sure that by the time it comes, and it will be completed within 12 months. So we should expect that we will have, a better electricity supply. About hostel accommodation, the Dean of Students is here. A few months ago, and I think it was on a Sunday, quite impromptu, I decided to visit one of the halls. And that is a female hall. I think it was Idia Hall. Yes. Went myself with the warden as well as the Dean of Students. I entered, some of the places that we needed to. I was bleeding inside my heart. Immediately, together with the Dean of Students, there is something that we are putting together. But let me tell you, about 20 years ago, all those hostel accommodation that you see is actually managed by the federal government. But at a time, federal government relinquished it and returned it to the university. With the meager amount and with the meager, what we receive from government, it is virtually impossible for any federal university to be able to maintain it maximally. And you see that if it is returned to private owners, we can do that under the PPP and so on. But I can tell you that they will charge economic rate that students will not be able to pay. So it is to make some trade-off and to say, what are we going to do? I'm sure that now the percentage that we house in our hostel accommodation is approximately a quarter of the students. It is our hope that we want it to be 100%. the idea, we do not have any legal authority to control off-campus places where people live. It is outside our jurisdiction. We cannot, because those are private owners. But what the university do in terms of public-private partnership is to be able to allow some of the people, we give them land and give them conditions. The conditions are very clear. Within a specified time, let it be built. We also have some control, even on the amount that they charge, and some other issues, which is being handled, by some of our committees. I'm sure now we have between 80 to 20 of them that are at different stages of completion. I'm sure that when it is completed, the issue of accommodation will have been addressed. Well, the challenges will be quite minimal. But apart from that, even the government, they are conscious, particularly the Minister of Education. Just yesterday, I was with the Minister of Education. And one of the things that was discussed is about a private public partnership, of which there will be the Tertiary Education Trust Fund will give 1 billion naira, and then the developer will give 3 billion naira, making 4 billion, to be able to build an hostel. There are 24 universities that are there, and University of Ibadan is very top on it. So I'm sure it is almost, the deeds and so on is almost being completed. And I can tell you, I don't know how many rooms that will be provided, but I can tell you that that will also be able to support the issue of, with the Dean of Students, we are putting some things together in terms of looking at our alumni, in terms of renovating all the halls. I can tell you the challenge that we have with the renovation. If you want to renovate any of the halls, even though we may have some funds to be able to do it, it is the time, because our calendar is not very stable. You need to shut down the halls for several months. You can't renovate in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. If we shut down all the halls, where will students stay? And usually the gap, DVC Academy, is there. Is in charge of the calendar. When you look at when one session will end and when the other will take off, it's just about a matter of 2 weeks or 3 weeks. When can we do the renovation? Even the fumigation will take some time to be able to do it. Because when you want to fumigate against all those things and so on, you need to fumigate about 2 or 3 times. For us to get 1 or 1.5 is always a problem. Because you fumigate, in another 1 week, 2 weeks, you come again to fumigate, because if they are over, their eggs and so on will have hatched to adult. And therefore, they will survive whatsoever chemicals that you are putting there. So you need to come again to do it. So you see, that is the challenge. I hope we will be able to get to it. So that tells you that we are also concerned. We are concerned about the state of the hall, but of the hostel accommodation. We will continue. What other things is raised? And I think those are the 2 major issues that is raised there. There was somebody that said, okay, you raised that there was a particular student. You didn't mention the name of the student. President, who was that postgraduate student that you mentioned that didn't graduate? What's his name? Oh, you are already part of us now. I was looking at you there. He's a colleague now. Okay, is that... okay. The issue about that person is a case that is in court. It is sub judice for us to make any intervention. Okay, okay, okay. The president is my friend, so don't worry. And I mean it. All my children, they are my friends. If you make somebody your friend, the implication is that he will not be able to hide anything from you. So even your children make your children your friend. Even though if you look at the age difference, how can a very small person be, we are friends and we'll be able to discuss. Let me also inform you, in terms of unionism, the outgoing president is aware. We had a collaboration with the University of West of England, in Bristol. When we visited the university, we saw how, the management of the student union. We were challenged, even as elders. And we thought that there may be certain things for us to learn. I discussed with him, he's already working out. The university will support the president, the outgoing president, and some members of the new executive to visit the University of West of England in Bristol. For some few days. It may be up to a week, depending on the program. We are already working out the program. We were challenged with the management. And I think we will learn, the student union will learn a lot of things. And the arrangement that we are going to make so that, there will be a lot of handshake is that the students the executive that will go will not be students in the final year, their final year. There will be people that will still be here so that when they invite, they will also, be able to, transmit it even to others and to make the impact even while they are here. Kilo tukubai. The issue of ID card, please let me also make the announcement. Because of the prevailing security situations that we have right now in the country, because we are not immune to it. When you see some of the things, it is that the drum is like a drummer. The sound of it is now at the central. Is it not central now? We should also be preparing, those of us that are in the southwest, because we are already hearing the sound. So we want every member of the university community that belongs to the university community to carry their identity card. The security can challenge you anytime, and you should be able to show yourself that who you are. So I want to implore the students so that you will not be embarrassed at any time. Whatever support that you need, let us hear, because I was hearing that what you use in hanging it, we can always, our items, they are already making some preparation so that you have, hang it. Anywhere you are going, put it there so that we will know that you are a bona fide student of the university. The management, students, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me once again, on behalf of the entire management, the council, the congregation, the Senate, to particularly welcome the new executive. I assure you wholeheartedly of our support. We are acting as parents for you, but that is essentially how it is. We had, I say it every time, and the Dean of Students is also blowing it. Now we have purposeful student unionism. If a student union can come up with a vision not for today, a vision that is very strategic, thinking forward, 2030. You see, it places some challenge even onto us as administrators and management. That if they can produce this, I'm going to look at it, I will go through it. If we need to constitute a committee, that we'll be able to look at it and see some areas of collaboration, we will do it. Because you all know that the University of Ibadan, we work on committee system. And that is why a vice-chancellor cannot be an emperor. Neither can he be a king. He is just the vice-chancellor. So on behalf of the university, once again, I want to thank you for this.
You would observe that the Vice-Chancellor spoke more from his heart than from his papers. Please appreciate the 13th Vice-Chancellor of our university one more time, Professor Kayode Oyebode Adebowale, MNIFAS. Kindly take your seat. Mr. Vice-Chancellor, may I warmly request that you lead the I-table to take a group photograph with the new executive members of the student union of our university, while I invite them to step forward for that iconic group photograph. So, Mr. Vice-Chancellor, sir, you may lead the I-table to take a group photograph with the new executive. The President will be beside the Vice-Chancellor with other executive members flanking them. After the photograph, I'll give one or two announcements. The registrar will give the vote of thanks, and to do that on his behalf is the Deputy Registrar of our Student Affairs Division, Mr. Sulaiman Oyewumi. Then we'll take the anthems. Please a round of applause for them as they take their seats briefly. Ladies and gentlemen, it's important for me to note that there's a cocktail after the anthems, and I want to specially plead that you allow principal officers of the university to visit the cocktail table first, and also I'll plead that you allow the former executive and the new executive to take theirs, then the Student Representative Council should follow. I want to assure you we have enough to go around, but we need to do it in an orderly fashion. So when the anthems are being rendered, we'll all remain standing, and after the anthems, the principal officers will go to the cocktail while we remain seated, and I'll call the different categories that will go to the cocktail table. It's on that note I welcome the Deputy Registrar of our Student Affairs Division, Mr. Sulaiman Oyewumi, to give a vote of thanks on behalf of the Registrar.
All praises are due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. We appreciate Him for giving us this day and for a successful program. I would like to start by appreciating the Vice Chancellor and other principal officers of the university for their love and for their timely responses to issues that affect the the student of the University of Ibadan. I particularly noticed that the Vice Chancellor deeply loves our students through a number of incidents that happened. The first one was during the manifesto night. The day was a particularly very busy day for the Vice Chancellor. We were to start the program around 2 p.m. But up till sometimes around 6 p.m., the Vice Chancellor was still receiving visitors. But he kept us assuring us that he would be at our program. He eventually came and he stayed almost to the end of the program. We thank you for this, sir. You also notice that today he flew in from Abuja to attend this program. If not for the love he has for students, he could have delegated that duty to one of his deputies. But because of the love he has for you, so he made sure that he chaired this program. We appreciate you deeply, sir. May God continue to uplift you. I also want to thank the Dean of the Faculty of Art and the Provost College of Medicine for making it to this program. The two of them, they have one executive among the newly inaugurated executive members. So we thank you, sir, for your time. I said it earlier, the election we had couldn't have been more smooth, credible, and transparent. But for the job done by the election platform technical team, led by the provost of the postgraduate college, we want to appreciate them. Thank you very much. Then I would like to appreciate members of my commission, the Student Union Election Commission. I said it earlier in the morning, the little time we had together, they showed that they were learning and they were also building positive character, which is the motto of the University of Ibadan. I thank you very much. Keep it up. To the outgoing ESCO, you know, a lot has been said about your tenure, about your style of leadership. Your tenure was peaceful. You and I had peace. And I want to say you were able to do this because you were wise, because you consulted and you dialogued. So may God continue to uplift you. Thank you very much for that excellent service. To the incoming ESCO and SRC member, I hope you have learned from what has been said about the outgoing ESCO. You need wisdom. You are going to serve, but you have to serve with wisdom. We've been talking about dialogue, consultation, rather than confrontation. I want to appreciate that you have taken the challenge to serve, but serve with wisdom. May God help you. For this program to record the success we have today, there are a number of units that came together to put it together. I want to appreciate the Directorate of Public Communication for their service. I also want to extend that appreciation to the University Media Center. You have always been there for us. We thank you very much for that. The safety unit We also thank you very much for keeping us secured. We have a very peaceful program today. Thank you very much. And to friends and well-wishers of the newly inaugurated executive members, we thank all of you for being part of this program. God bless you.
It's on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I request that we all rise as we take the anthems. We start with the University of Ibadan anthem, followed by the national anthem. Thank you. Please be seated while the principal officers and members on the high table go to the cocktail table. And once they are done, we'll welcome the former executive of our student union, followed by the new executives to join. Thereafter, the SRC members, and every other person will follow thereafter.